your host, Mary Arnott. Welcome to this edition of All About Hopkinton, the HCAM show created to bring you the people and organizations that make our community a great place to live. The people in All About Hopkinton dedicate their time, energy, and talents to improve life in our town. It's an honor to talk with them and share their stories. Joining me today is Amy Ritterbusch and Elise Michalowski from the eHop organization, which we're going to hear all about. So welcome, Amy. Welcome, Elise. I'm glad you're both here today.
Well, thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
I know we have a lot to talk about with respect to eHop, what it does, its mission and events. But before we get into what makes it such a successful organization, I want to chat a little bit with you about who you are, because we have a lot of new people in town and I'd like them to get to know you. So whatever you feel comfortable in sharing about your background, just for folks to get to know you a little bit, for those that don't, that's what you can share. Amy, do you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm Amy Ritterbusch. I've lived in Hopkinton since 2004. I moved here when my kids were very little, and I did a lot of volunteering for the PTA. I did freelance website work. And now that my kids are older, I've gone back to work. I work for the Wellesley Public School District in the technology office, doing webmaster work and technical support. And I'm also serve on the Hopkinton Planning Board, the Design Review Board, and the Historic District Commission.
Very busy schedule, Amy, but welcome. And Elise, how about you?
Hi, I'm Elise Michalowski. I am relatively new to town. I've lived here about 2 years. I have a son who's 1.5 years old, so I'm currently a stay-at-home mom. And with my extra time, because I'm not one of those people who can sit around doing nothing, I decided to get involved with the town. So I'm the newest board member of eHop and also on the zoning advisory committee.
And I understand that you moved here from someplace else.
Yes, I'm from Miami, Florida, so I'm also relatively new to Massachusetts.
And it's cold weather and it's winters and the nor'easter storms. You'll get used to all of it. Don't worry about it. And I've never known a stay-at-home mom who wasn't busy a lot, so I appreciate the fact that you're willing to spend some time and get involved with eHop and other things in town. That's great. Well, welcome to you both. Now, I'm a little familiar with eHop, actually maybe a little bit more, but it's a wonderful organization, and I want to talk about communications, how you get your message across, what your mission is. So who wants to start with maybe telling us a little bit about what eHop is for those folks that aren't familiar with it?
Okay, so what it is now, our mission is to provide timely and factual information about key town matters with the goal of increasing government transparency and fostering civic engagement. So we were founded in 2007, I think right after a school override vote. I can't remember if it passed or failed, but it was very close by about 11 votes. And we really felt that the public needed more information, that there was a lot of misinformation out there. People were trying to get info and couldn't find it, and we wanted to do what we could to help make information more readily accessible. But we try not to take an opinion on it either way, but just make the information more available. But we do, every year we do a Know Your Vote show to prep for town meeting, and we do a lot of work to just get information out there about all the articles that are going to be on town meeting.
Well, I know that we're going to talk a lot about the Know Your Vote event because that's very important and it's a key strategic thing that eHop likes to do. But also, too, there's so many communications that go on in between events and throughout the year. And getting people involved, the civic engagement, knowledge is power. So when you put it out there, it really helps folks. I know it's benefited me many times. So let's start with maybe some of just the different ways that you do communicate the information.
So we have a website that is kind of like an archive going back to almost 2007 about different things that have been voted on at town meeting. And you can search it, you can go by category. If you don't remember when we changed a certain bylaw or when we voted for a certain capital project, you can look back on it. We send email blasts. We used to do them maybe only twice a month, but we've tried to really focus this year. One of our new members, Smitha, is helping get out a weekly email blast. And then, in more recent years, Facebook has become really big, so we also post on Facebook almost every day if there's news articles about the town or other things going on.
Well, I will tell you, I appreciate the emails because I'm a holdout. I don't use Facebook. And with some things that have been in the news about it and stuff, I'm kind of glad I don't, but maybe one of these days I'll jump on that bandwagon. In the meantime, I do read the emails, and there's a lot of good information in them. Elise, being the newest member to the board, what have you found out about eHop and the things that you're getting involved with?
Well, one of the events that I helped facilitate was our info social. We're trying to do something different this year and meet with different groups around the town. So instead of just holding more formal forums where people could come and talk about specific issues, we're trying to meet with different demographics and try to figure out what it is that they're interested in town government or town issues, so that we can find the best way to engage with everybody's interests on a more personal level. Because I think that really helps people get more involved when they find a personal connection to what's happening in their town. And the biggest thing I learned from doing our event with the moms group was that there's a lot of new residents in town who aren't from small towns in Massachusetts, and they don't know how our government works, and they don't understand how annual town meeting works. So the info session we did with the moms group, I found very enlightening to me, to show me that I'm not the only one who was new to all this. There's a lot of other people. And I think it's just really important what we do to help all the residents know, because this is something that affects everybody. So it's important to get engaged and to know what you're being engaged about.
Absolutely, and it is a learning experience when they've come from, like you say, a larger city or something, and a town meeting. We all sit in this auditorium, and we're voting on things that it's very different. Yeah. So I'm glad that the moms group is going to get, you had the session for them. And recently there was a session also at the senior center. Mm-hmm. I found very informative and very helpful. I attended that. I'm tempted to say everything about it, but I'll let you do that. But it was very good. Does anyone want to talk about that one?
I didn't go to that one.
Oh, well, I'll do it then.
Okay, yeah.
Because I thought it was such a benefit. There were people from the town that eHop sponsored, brought in for us. Our town clerk was there, Connor Dagan, and some of his team, and they talked about tax credits and things that are available to seniors to help lower their property tax bill. And I will tell you that that is something that seniors are very interested in. Our property taxes have gone up, and this is probably the highest level it's been that I can ever remember in all my years that I've been in Hopkinton. So it was very informative. There were a lot of good questions, a lot of good information. eHop even provided some refreshments. It was just a wonderful event, and I understand you're doing the focus groups, like you say, so there have been other events as well.
Yeah, we had one with the South Asian group of Hopkinton, the SACH.
The South Asian group?
Yeah, so that was a good one in the evening. And then we recently joined the Chamber of Commerce, so we hosted a Chamber of Commerce business after hours once, so we could get to know that demographic too. So it's been a good way to outreach different groups that we're not as in tune with, maybe.
Well, you do so much. I mean, you must have a very active board or a very group of volunteers that help out. You want to talk a little bit about the board of directors?
So Nanda Barker-Hook is our president, and she is really organized and active, and she's been, she really keeps us on target, sending out agendas and action items. So I really appreciate her doing that, because I did president for a couple of years, and it's a lot of work, but I appreciate her keeping it going. And I'm really more computer website focused, and I would not have done the outreach probably in the community without her prompting that it would be a good idea. So I really appreciate that. But so we also have Tara Sanda, Christy Willitson, Cindy Bernardo is our treasurer, and let's see, Mary Poella, and Smitha Ram recently just joined too. I didn't forget anyone today. There's 7.
I think you got them all.
I think I got them all.
And the two of you.
Yeah, the 2 of us, yeah.
Well, that's good. So I'm sure you hit everybody, but just in case you didn't, we appreciate everything that they all do. Would you like to talk about the Know Your Vote a little bit more now?
Sure.
Let's go into that one.
Yeah, so Know Your Vote, we try to hold it a week before town meeting. So this year it will be Monday, April 29th, 2019. And it's in the high school library from 6:30 to 8:30. And we'll have speakers from the town, panelists. We'll have the town moderator, town manager, the chair of selectmen, the superintendent of schools, the school committee chair, the director of land use, parks and rec chair, planning board chair, and this year we're going to have the historical commission chair because there's a few articles about historic preservation on the warrant this year. So we thought there might be a lot of questions about that. But residents can come in person, they can watch on eHop, or they could send in questions. We've also done Facebook Live the last 2 years, so you can watch it live on Facebook and you can like and comment on Facebook if you want. But we encourage everybody to, even if you can't come, to listen, and then it can answer, ideally, some of your questions before town meeting.
Well, that sounds like a very extensive panel. So is each person going to give an opportunity to talk a little bit about the area that they're involved with and then take questions, or what will the format be like?
Usually we have Tom Garabedian, the town moderator, give the introduction and explain sort of how town meeting works for people who don't know. But then the rest of the panelists, we usually have them wait and have other people ask the questions and then they respond. Because if you let everybody give a little speech at the beginning, then it just gets kind of long and people don't get their questions answered. So we do have slides. We'll prepare a slideshow about some of the key articles at town meeting and some basics about town meeting too.
And there's no reason not to be aware of it and view it, because as you said, they can go down in person, which is always nice, get together with your neighbors, go down and attend, or watch it on HCAM or Facebook. So it's a lot of good information there, right, Elise?
Yeah, it's also a good event because some of the articles can be very confusing when you read them. You almost feel like you're going around in a circle. And so it just clarifies things and kind of points out the main key points within the articles. Because I don't know if you've ever read some of the articles, but some of them are almost 2 pages long when they get more complex. So it's nice to have this event that you can go to about the important things that we have to vote about, and you can just sort of get the bullet points, because not everybody has time to sit and read through every single sentence in every article.
Well, even though the articles are put online on the government website before the meetings, I find that if there's actually a session like the Know Your Vote, you have a tendency to carve out that time. If you're just saying, well, I'll get to reading it on the, online sometime on the website, sometimes I never really get around to it till that night, and then I'm scrambling to get over to the voting area and pick up the articles and try to read them as it's going on, and sometimes I'm running an HCAM camera and I'm trying to understand the art. So I think it's a wonderful event, Know Your Vote. Yeah.
And we found too, it's really helpful if we can get a visual for each article, because you may not recognize an address or a field, and if we can go get a photo of what it's going to be, or a rendering of what we're voting on, it really grabs your eye and you're like, oh, that's the project, and now I understand what it is and whether I might want to support it or not.
Well, I think you've done an amazing job at connecting with town government and getting people involved, both from the general community, but also from the people in the different departments in the government. It seems like you're getting a lot of cooperation.
Yeah, I think we really are. If we reached out to the town clerk or town manager, they provide the documents that we ask for. I think a lot of people don't know that you can just ask for things, and they're usually very happy to provide it. Like if you can't find something on the town website, just email the selectman's office or the superintendent's secretary, and they can usually get you the document pretty quickly. But some people don't realize that they can do that. But anything, meeting packets are available online, but if you can't find it, you can just ask and they will send it. But we try to find that stuff and put it on our website so it's a little more easy to find.
Well, you both have very demanding schedules, but all of them do as well that are, in our government, whether they're paid or, elected or volunteer, whatever. So it's nice to know that they are making time out of their busy schedules to get involved with the eHop events and providing information and helping you get information out there to the public.
Yeah, because they don't have a PR director like a bigger city or town would, I think they appreciate having help in the community.
You want to talk a little bit about, I have some little props here on the table, but I'll let you maybe reference them, and we'll hold them up and get them on the camera.
Yeah, we have a rack card, we call it, that we hand out at events, and also to Hometown Hospitality, which is the welcome lady that visits everybody when they move to town.
Hold it up a little bit and we'll zoom in on it so people can see what it looks like.
Yeah, so on the front we just have about our organization and how to follow us, but on the back we print a new one every year, but it has the date of annual town meeting, town election, how to contact town hall, how to contact the schools, if you have a question. And just, so we'll reprint this every year with the new dates. And we just thought, when you're moving to town, it's good to know these basics, who to contact for what, and when to vote, how to register to vote, things like that. And then we have, free pens that we give away.
These are very nice. I have one at home.
Yeah, and business cards if people don't want a big rack card.
Yeah. Well, also, you mentioned the email that goes out and that it's coming out once a week now. I particularly like the format. It summarizes things at the beginning, and then down further in the email, if it's talking about the Know Your Vote event, it gives more detail. If it's talking about a vote that happened or something, it also has a website where there might be an additional article from one of the local newspapers. And you just click on that link and you can go in and read that as well. So I find it one of those emails that I like to read.
Yeah,
good. We all get a lot of email, but
well, it's funny, that's the type of stuff we post on Facebook on a daily basis, but we got the feedback from the community that some people don't go on Facebook anymore because of the issues like you brought up, or that they're too busy during the week and they don't see them, so that they'd rather get one consolidated email once a week that they could just kind of sift through. So, and I didn't have time to do it, but one of our new volunteers, Smitha, said she would be happy to do that for us, so it's been great. So she just goes through Facebook and Twitter for the week and she compiles it all and, puts it all in a readable format with the summary at the beginning.
well, even though many people would consider us still a small town, I mean, we're growing a lot, but many would consider us still a very small town, there's so much happening. And I find that, if I lose kind of track of what's going on, I go to that email and it pulls me in. And between that and some of the things that HCAM does to get information out there too, with their emails and their bulletin boards, I'm finding I'm more connected.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot out there. I get the daily HCAM email and the Metro West Daily News daily email. And it's great.
But Elise, how's the transition been from you moving up here and finding out all about our town? What is it about eHop that you think is particularly makes it successful in doing that?
I think the board of eHop is so diverse, and we all have, we're all sort of at different points in our lives, and we all come from different backgrounds, so we complement each other very well. And like Amy mentioned earlier, she's more of a tech computer person, and Nanda is more of an in-person social person. So the fact that she thought of all of these new info socials for this year, and just having everybody with different personalities come up with different ideas creates a more well-rounded, thoughtful process for everything. And I think that's part of what helps. The other thing is, I think, from what I've learned, people in this town, they want to be actively engaged. They just don't know how, because it's very difficult to find information somehow. So I think with eHop, having everything on the computer and Facebook, especially for the younger people in town, I think it helps them feel like they are able to get more engaged with the town because they know what to do. When I first moved here, I had no idea how things worked or who to contact or what to do. I actually randomly saw about an eHop event on my Facebook feed. I didn't even know what eHop was, and I went to it and I thought, oh, I love this. This is so informative, and there was so much information, and I learned so much about the town in the hour that I was there. So I met Nanda and I said, I'd love to get involved.
I'm glad you reached out to her. That's great. And as you say, people of all ages, younger ones, and you were at the senior center. I mean, eHop does have a way to reach everyone with, if people are looking for information. And even if you're not old enough to vote, it's good to keep up on what's happening in town. And, before too long, you will be able to vote. So I'm encouraging the young ones to make sure they're keeping up and getting involved and reading the information.
Yeah, and even for people in town who aren't citizens and they're not able to vote, they can still get involved with the town on other levels. So it's good for everybody.
Yeah, they can do volunteer work, right?
I think that's a good point, because even if you're not a voting citizen yet, but you may have children in the school district. You have things that go on in town that are going to affect you, whether it be property taxes and other things. So it's good to be aware of them,
Yeah.
know what's going on, and voice your opinion.
Definitely.
So I'm really glad that eHop is out there. Do you have any plans for any kind of changes, or are you looking at some different things that you might try to do, or you have a pretty full plate right now?
I think we would like to do more. It was the more volunteers we get, because we're a little bit spread thin. But we're excited. We're going to have a banner over the street this year announcing town meeting. That's kind of been one of our goals for a while, and we wrote a town meeting article in 2013 to get that allowed. And then there were some obstacles in actually getting it posted and getting permission from the pole owners and getting someone to put it up. But we're really excited to have an over the street banner this year.
Will it be a bigger one since the law was changed and you can have bigger banners now?
The law hasn't been changed yet. We have to
Oh,
get
it
to
has-
town meeting.
Oh, it has to go to town meeting. Planning board supported it, that's
Yes,
right.
they did. Yeah.
Planning board supported it, but it has to go to town meeting to vote.
Well, this is our second year having a charity marathon number, so that we have actually a bigger income stream than we used to have. We used to really run on a shoestring budget. We just did the Flamingo fundraiser once a year and maybe had just under $1,000 to spend for the year. But we are hoping to expand a little more and reach more people, create kind of a more steady stream of events. But we need more volunteers too.
Well, let's talk about that, because you are an all-volunteer organization, as I understand it, and how many, maybe not how many volunteers, because you'll take as many people as wants to get involved. What are the kinds of things that you need some help with that a volunteer could help with?
Well, we talked about like having some, I think, town meeting 101, or not town meeting, but kind of Hopkinton or town government 101 events over the summer for people who might be thinking of taking on a volunteer board role, or getting appointed to a committee, or even running for office, but never having done it before. And then, where do you start? What are the different boards in town? What do they do? How can you learn about them all before you, try to throw your hat in for a committee?
They might have to come up with a different name, because Hop 101 is the library
Right.
event,
And we're
which
actually
is coming
going-
up at the time that we're doing this show. That's coming up as well, and that.
Yeah, we're actually going to be there too.
eHop's going to have a table
Yeah, we
there,
have a table.
yeah,
Yeah.
as a lot of organizations,
Yeah.
so that's good. Yeah, but that sounds like something you're looking at doing then.
Yeah, and another thing is we've sent postcards to voters to remind them about Know Your Vote in town meeting in the past, but we've never had the budget to actually send postcards to all the voters, so we really focused on people that tended to vote at town meeting, figuring they'd be more interested in the Know Your Vote. But the bigger budget we get, the more we can mail to the whole town, or maybe do a mailing to people that are new to town just to welcome them and let them know about us. Anyway, but
Well,
we've been
if-
limited by money in the past.
Yeah. If you need any materials printed up, I know a great little print shop. I can't mention their name online, on the show right now, because we're not promoting businesses right now. But I can clue you in. They did a great job for me on something that I had done recently, and they're very reasonably priced compared to some other places. So I'll tell you about that offline.
Okay.
But-
That'd be great.
So you do have your card that you showed and the business cards. Are there other printed materials, or is everything's pretty much online, really? So you don't want to do too much
online.
paper stuff.
Yeah, we will be doing postcards again to voters to remind them about Know Your Vote in town meeting. So we'll be doing that around April break.
Yeah, you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
We have discussed briefly doing some more paper. We're not quite sure the details yet, but some of the feedback we got at the senior center was that a lot of the seniors are not online. And so we want to reach everybody. So we're trying to figure out how we can get to the people who aren't online, but we haven't really discussed any details about that yet.
Because print is a lot more expensive than just putting stuff on a website.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know you're talking with Amy Beck because she was at the senior center event, and I'm sure that with all your heads put together, you'll come up with some solution. And even if it's just something they can put up on their bulletin board there, as you go into the lunchroom right by the receptionist desk, there's a bulletin board that has information. So, that might cut down on printing costs if you could just put something up there. But I'm sure you and Amy will come up with some solution. And
Yeah, we'll talk to her.
yeah. I mean, the seniors want to be involved, but some of them, either can't afford computers or haven't had an opportunity to really learn how to use them, although they do have the area at the senior center where they're showing them the technology, and they have PCs in there and instructors and students that come in and help them. So
Yeah, that's great.
they're getting there. They'll be
A lot of seniors have smartphones now, too.
Yeah,
It's,
that's true. The
yeah, it's not
phones
just
and the
kids anymore.
tablets, and yeah. Well, we're down to our last couple of minutes, and I want to make sure that we've covered everything about eHop you wanted to share today, events.
I think so.
Yeah, the biggest thing coming up is just know your vote.
Yeah, and pay attention to the town meeting and the different articles
Yep.
coming up.
Yeah, and as you said, Elise, I think you pointed out, sometimes reading through those articles, you read through it, and yeah, I have to read through it again and say, now, did I really get that? Did I understand what that was all about?
Yeah.
So that's really important that you do put that out there. And I like the capsulized information, and then I can dig deeper with the links and websites that are provided and things if I want to do that, because there's so much going on around town.
And some things you just don't care about personally. So you want to know what they are, but you don't care in detail. Whereas your next door neighbor might care about those things you don't. So it's nice to have the information there if you want it, but you don't have to be overloaded by information.
Right, that's a good point. Be informed, so when you go out to a local place and you're having a drink with your neighbors or, sitting over pizza or something, you're informed. You can talk to them about them and ask them how they feel about it. That's great. Well, I really appreciate you both being here today. I'm going to do my little close now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this program and hearing about eHop and the work they do. For more information about them and their organization, visit their website listed at the end of the show. For more information regarding All About Hopkinton, go to hcam.tv. If you or someone you know would like to be on the show, send us an email, and you just might see them sharing their story on All About Hopkinton. And before I close, I just want to make a reminder to folks, slow down at those crosswalks. I see too many cars going by and not letting the pedestrians walk across the street safely. Thank you for watching. I'm Mary Arnott, All About Hopkinton.
Are you worried about letting your child take the wheel? Maybe you should also be worried about what you're doing behind the wheel. Have you ever sent a quick text, just this once? Well, that might turn into a catastrophic accident. Monkeys see what monkeys do. If you do it, why wouldn't your child? In a child's brain, almost all things their parents do, they can do too. 78% of teen drivers surveys text and drive. 59% said their parents do it too. Stop texting and driving, because if you do it, your child will too.